Hello, everyone. Yeah, so we'll begin now because now I think we have most of them here. All right. So, first of all, let us see that how many tasks do we have in the listening section and what is the time that is given to perform these tasks. So, I'll be sharing my screen with you. So, in total, there are 8 type of tasks. So we'll be discussing certain basic things as well, because we have some of the participants who are first time test takers or who have never given the test before. So I'll just be giving some basic idea, and then we'll be going into the detail of time management. So we have 8 type of tasks in the entire listening section of PTE. And these 8 type of tasks are, as you can see on your screen, summarize spoken text, where you listen to an audio recording, which is a sort of lecture. And then after listening to the lecture, you have to write down a summary between 50 to 70 words. So you will be writing the summary based on whatever you have listened. So you can make notes while listening. I mean, you should make notes while listening. And you would get 2 or 3 questions or 2 or 3 tasks of this particular task type, which is summarize spoken text. Uh, the next task type is multiple choice, choose multiple answers, where again, as the name suggests, you will listen to an audio, and based on what you have listened in the audio, you have to choose from some options that are given, and more than one option would be correct answer. So you have to choose that. So again, you'll be getting 2 or 3 tasks or 2 or 3 questions of the same type. And after that, you have a fill in the blanks. Now in the fill in the blanks, you listen to an audio, and there'll be a transcript in front of you. And on the transcript, some of the words, there'll be some blanks. Now this would be the words that you have to listen for in the audio, and then you have to write down those words. So you can write down on the notepad and then type it, or you can, if you have very good typing speed, you can directly type it. Depends on how you prefer to do this. Again, you have 2 to 3 of these 2 to 3 questions or 2 to 3 tasks from this task type, which is fill in the blanks. Then we have, and this contributes both to a listening and writing score. So you need to do this very efficiently. Then we have highlight, correct, summary, where again you listen to a lot. You listen to an audio, and then your 4 summaries. You have to select which one is correct from the given 4 summaries. Then we have multiple choice, choose single answer. Just like the multiple choice, choose multiple answers. Here you listen to an audio, then you have options. But here you have to select only one answer, because only one answer would be correct. You would have radio buttons. You have to select one from there. Again, the question numbers, the number of questions would be 2 to 3. Now, guys, I'm not going into the details of each and every task as of now, because our main concern, or the main topic today that we want to discuss is the time management. So I'll just be giving a brief for each type of task. Then you select missing word, which is the next task, where you have to listen to an audio, listen for the development of ideas, and at the end of the audio there will be a beep, and you have to choose from the set of options that which word would be the most suitable word to fill in that beep. You again have 2 to 3 questions or 2 to 3 tasks for this particular task type, which is select missing words. Then last but second is highlight incorrect words. Here again, you'll listen to an audio, and there will be a transcript in front of you. But not all the words in the transcript would be correct. There will be some words which would be incorrect, and you have to find out those incorrect words. So basically, you have to click on that incorrect word, and you get the score for that. Again, the number of questions in this task type would be 2 to 3. And the last and one of the important task types is write from dictation, where you listen to a sentence, and you have to listen to it carefully. After listening, you have to write down the sentence as it is, and here every word is important. For each word, you will be getting 1 credit point. So basically, these are the different 8 different task types that you have in the listening section. So this is the section that is the highest number of tasks compared to all the other sections, and this section comes at the end of your test. So you'll be listening to or you'll be doing 8 different type of tasks in the test, and this, because it comes to the end of your test, so you'll also be you'd be sort of tired by the time you have reached this section, because you've done a lot of reading, you've done a lot of speaking tasks. So when you're here, it is very important to manage your time, or time management becomes very, very important for this section. And so we'll be discussing how to manage time, what is time management, and all the other aspects of time management for this particular section, how you need to go through each of the tasks, and what time you need to spend for a particular task, how you can efficiently perform each task and make sure that you get the best possible score. So what exactly is time management in the listening section, or as a matter of fact, what exactly is time management? Is it finishing all the tasks in the given time at all the costs? Which means that do you need to finish each and every task of the listening section, no matter no matter how you performed? Is that what time management means, or does time management mean to perform effectively to get the best possible score? So time management actually does not mean that you have to finish all the tasks in the given time at all costs, but actually what you have to do is you have to perform effectively to get the best possible score. Now remember, I'm not telling you that you do not have to perform all the tasks. What I'm telling is that you have to perform effectively within the given time, depending on what your abilities are, how good you are at listening, how good you are at performing tasks such as reading long texts, or being able to analyze, being able to do a logical analysis of the options given and the information that you have heard, the information that you have retained. Based on that, how effectively you would be able to solve that. That depends on from individual to individual. Someone could have excellent listening and analyzing skills, and maybe they could perform one task in a very short time, whereas this would not be the case for each and every person in who is appearing for PT test. So how do you ensure that despite the fact that you're not able to perform each and every task with the utmost I would say perform each and every task in the same efficiency, with the same efficiency that is required? So what would you do in that case? So effective time management would be really, really helpful for you, or knowing that despite the fact that you're not able to understand each and every um, word, or each and every um, recording, or you're not very efficient at solving each and every task. So what or how you can use this given time to get the best score? So let's first see that what are the factors that could help you to get this best possible score. So the first and the most important thing here is, right, I'm facing some difficulty with this. All right, so the first and the most important thing is that you need to understand that which are the tasks that are really important, or which are the tasks where you really need to make sure that you need to make sure that you're scoring perfectly, and which are the tasks where you you need to efficiently move through the task without worrying much about your actual scoring. So let's have a look at that. Okay, so there are 3 main factors that you need to consider, or there are 3 main factors that you need to work on when we are talking about time management. The first is prioritization, the second is familiarization, and the third is optimization. So, what is prioritization, what is familiarization, and what is optimization? So, the first step here would be to prioritize that out of the 8 tasks that you have in your listening section, you need to put a priority to the tasks that are really important or the tasks that carry weight towards your listening section and that contribute a good score towards your actual PT communicative skills, and not focus on each and every task. So you need to prioritize that which are the tasks that are important and which are the tasks that are not important, or which are the tasks that would carry less weightage towards your actual scoring. Familiarization means to become familiar, become very familiar with each task type that is important. So when I say familiarization, what I mean here is that you're so familiar with each and every task that you do not need to think a lot of things. For example, if you're sitting for the test and you're not aware, a very simple example, if you're not aware, or if you're not that familiar with the entire process, and if you just fail to remember that you could get 4 right from dictation questions, so you don't know that what are the how many tasks are there, or how many tasks you could get for a particular task type, and your last task type is say right from dictation, and you you don't know that it could be 4, and you take a long time to finish the third one, and by the end of the third right from dictation, you're out of time and you're not able to perform the fourth right from dictation. Now this would completely damage your score. So being familiar means that you know the entire structure of the listening section. You know you know that which is the first task, which is the second task. You're completely aware about the flow of the tasks. You're completely aware about the sequence, and you're also aware that how many number of tasks are there. Being aware about all this, and this is you're not consciously, you don't try in the test, you cannot try to be consciously aware about things, but you should have become so familiar with this entire process, or with the entire listening section, that you do not need to move from you do not need to just look at the or you just do not need to remember that okay how many tasks were there. You just know it's an instinctive feeling that you get, and this could only be developed if you have really practiced. So familiarization is an important point, and the third is optimization. Now familiarization is very important for those who already know English, who already have practiced a lot for listening section, or as a matter of fact for the entire PT, but they are not familiar with the structure. This could prove to be fatal, when it could just damage your scores, or it could have a big impact on your scores if you're not familiar with the entire structure. So familiarization is again very important. And lastly, we have optimization. That means you optimize the time that you have for preparation. See, in today's times, it's very easy to get distracted towards a lot of things that are not important. That means everyone has a very limited time to prepare for the PT. Someone wants to give it for their higher studies, someone wants it for their permanent residency. So everyone has a time zone and they have to prepare in that given time zone. So it's a very limited time zone in which you're preparing. So you have to optimize each and every second that you have. So how would you optimize? You can optimize by prioritizing. That means put your priorities for the important tasks, and make sure that which are the tasks that carry a lot of weight, and make sure that you can score the maximum in those tasks. So now let us have a look at the listening section, and let us understand that what are the tasks that actually carry a lot of weight, and what are the tasks which do not. If you just categorize into say high priority and low priority, then let us see that out of this 8 type of tasks, which are the tasks that would actually be called as the high priority tasks, or which are the tasks that would actually give a good contribution to your uh, listening score, or to your score in the PTE. So the let us look at the first task. The first task is summarize spoken text. Now here you get 10 credit points for each summarize spoken text. You also have a individual time for this text, for this task, which means that you have 10 minutes to perform each summarized spoken text, and these 10 minutes are not carried forward. That means that you have to effectively use all the 10 minutes, and the time that you take to perform this task would not affect the would not have any impact on the other 7 tasks. So this task has its own time. So for this task, and it also has a lot of weight, because there are 10 credit points for each summarized spoken text. So overall there would be, you can say that there would be 20 credit points towards your entire. If you have 2 summarized spoken text, you could get 20 credit points. If you get 3 summarized spoken text in your test, maybe you could get um, 30 credit points. So how do you manage in this situation? So the first or the most important thing is that you effectively use all the given time in summarized spoken text, and make sure that you get the best possible score here. And one tip here is that make sure that you cover all the scoring in the spelling. You don't make a single spelling mistake, because that could damage your score in this particular task. I'll at the end I'll give a small idea that how spelling could damage your entire score in the listening section. So this, we can put it as one of the high priority tasks, or a task that actually contributes. So this is a task where you really need to focus and make sure that you get the best out of this task. So refer to the scoring guide for summarized spoken text. That would give you a better idea. There is a clear scoring guide that is available for summarized spoken text. There are 10 credit points. See that which are the tasks, or which are the traits that contribute to the summarized spoken text score, and that would help you to understand that which are the areas where you're lagging in summarized spoken text, and just improve on them, and make sure that you at least get 8, or minimum 8, or maximum 10 in this particular task. And believe me, it's really easy to get 8 to 10 marks in this summarized spoken text. For each summarized spoken text, it's really easy to get 8 to 10 if you have the correct strategy, if you know the correct method. So we've already discussed this in the listening webinar, and for all those who have not been able to attend the listening webinar, or all those who want to get a better understanding of how you can get 8 to 10 credit points towards each summarized spoken text, you can always go to PT tutorials and go for one-to-one coaching to get a better understanding of how you can get the perfect score in summarized spoken text, you without losing even a single point over here. So this is a task where you won't lose you should not, or you must not in fact lose even a single point. You can get full score in this task, and it is easy to get the full score. The task is easy and the task is important, so you will spend a lot of time here and get the maximum marks in summarized spoken text. Now talking about the next task, which is multiple choice choose multiple answers. Now multiple choice choose multiple answers is one task which could sometimes be tricky. Now, why I say sometimes tricky is because of the type of question that you could get. Depending on the type of question that you get, it could be easy and it could also be tricky. So how do we manage this task, or is it really first let's discuss that, is it really a high priority task? So I would say that multiple choice choose multiple answers is not a high priority task when it comes to the listening section here, because this task, first thing is, it does not carry a lot of weight compared to the other tasks such as summarize spoken text and write from dictation, or highlight incorrect words. So that is the first reason that I consider it as a low priority task, because it does not carry a lot of weight. And the second thing is that this task could be very confusing. It is not as easy to get a score here as compared to summarize spoken text or write from dictation or highlight incorrect words, or as a matter of fact fill in the blanks. It is really tricky to get your score here. So the strategy for this would be, we have discussed the strategy in detail, but to just sum it up, I would say that get the question, understand the question before your recording begins, because if you've understood the question, you would know that what you're supposed to listen in this particular, for what information you are listening, what is the information that you have to find out from the audio. You will know only if you have listened to the question before the audio begins. If you look at the question after the audio begins, it would be a, you could be in trouble. So understand the question before the audio begins. That is very important for this. So that should be your approach. Understand the question and then listen, and then quickly select the option that you're very sure about. Even if you're sure only about one option, select it and move ahead. Do not waste a lot of time here, because as I said, it does not contribute a lot. Second, it's confusing. So you could end up spending 5-6 minutes solving one of these, and still you would not get the required score. Still you would miss out on something important. So uh, we would consider it as a low priority and a bit tricky. So make sure that you don't get stuck up over here. It's very important to understand that you don't get stuck up in multiple choice, choose multiple answers. The next one is fill in the blanks. Now, fill in the blanks is actually, yes, it is easy. It is definitely an easy task, but it is a real time task. Real time task means that it's when the recording starts and you start finding the answers, and as soon as the recording is over, it's done. You can't replay the audio, or you can't go back and change your answers. Or I mean, yeah, you can definitely change them, but you don't get the opportunity to listen. So whatever you do would be a sort of guesswork after that. So make sure that you practice this task enough, and it is really possible to get 100% score here. And and you don't need to be very very good in English to get a good score in this particular task. If you are attentive enough, if you have done substantial practice for this particular task, and if you have identified the areas where you're making mistake, then it is really easy to get a full score or near full score in this task. You can easily get 90%, 100% words from this, even with an average understanding, or with an average understanding, or because you don't uh, the actual activity that you're doing is very simple. You're listening and you're just writing down the words. So yes, I would say that this is a high priority task, because for each question or each task or each passage that you have in front of you, there would normally be 4 to 5 blanks. And if you get 2 of these in your test, it's like 10 credit points, and you must not lose even a single mark from there. Because if you just compare it with the other tasks like the multiple choice that we discussed right now, it could be a bit tricky. So all those who have practiced this task would know that it is comparatively easy than the previous one, and it carries more weight. So I would suggest that this is a high priority task where you would spend a lot of time, and you'll make sure, I mean, sorry, not spend a lot of time, but what I'm saying is you would make sure that you get each and every word correctly, and you'll spend time to check your answers. That is what I meant. You will spend enough time to check your answers, compare the verb form, the form of the word that you've written. Make sure that you have not missed an s, you have not missed an ed to the end of the word. uh, so yes, this would be important. So out of the 3 that we discussed, summarize spoken text, you need to spend time over there. Multiple choice, it's a bit tricky, so quickly move through the task. Smartly understand the question before the audio begins, find out the answer when you're listening, select the correct option, move ahead, don't waste time. Fill in the blanks, practice enough of fill in the blanks so that you don't lose even a single mark over here. If you are missing some words, identify that which type of mistakes you are regularly doing, and become familiar with the words that you regularly have in this type of blanks, so that you can get maximum score. Now the next task in this list is highlight correct summary. Now highlight correct summary is one task that could be difficult for a lot of people, because it involves listening for meaning. Here you have to listen for understanding the meaning of the entire audio, and then you have to read to understand each and of every option. Again, here you have to read the options to understand the meaning. If you're just listening to match the words, that won't work. So you have to listen first to understand the meaning, and then you have to read the options to understand the meaning of each of the options, and then select the correct one from there. So yes, if you if you're very comfortable understanding the meaning by listening to the audio and then understanding the meaning of each and every summary distinctly, if you're able to do that, then yes, you should listen to it, and while listening, understand everything. Once you have understood, then just go to the options, read it just for once, select something that you're very sure about, and then move ahead. But if you have a problem in, that means if your reading speed is not very good, and if you're facing some difficulty in understanding what is being said, then in that case I would suggest that don't spend a lot of time on this task. Don't spend a lot of time practicing this task, because you just have one credit that goes towards your scoring for getting the right answer. So I would suggest that listen to the audio, understand whatever you're able to, read the options and select the one that you feel is correct and move ahead. Don't spend a lot of time reading the options again and again, because that would not bring any sort of clarity if you have not understood the audio entirely. And even if you've understood the audio entirely, if you're confused between the summaries, don't waste a lot of time, because even if you're able to find out the right answers after 2, 3, or 4 minutes, it would not be helpful, because it would not get you the required score, because it's a low weighted task. So this, I would put it as a low priority task. The same goes for multiple choice choose single answer. In multiple choice choose single answer, you again, if you see that this for getting one answer correct, you just get 1 point, and there are only 2 or 3 of these tasks. So although it's easy than multiple choice choose multiple answers and highlight correct summary, but still, if you are confused, then I would suggest that select one option and move ahead, because it does not carry a lot of weight and it's a low priority task. But yes, if you want to perform efficiently in this task, then understand the question before your audio has started, because that would help you to know that what you have to listen for in the audio. And while you're listening to the audio, just focus for the meaning, and once you get the meaning, look at the options, select the correct one, and then move ahead. But in any case, if you don't understand the audio, or if you're not able to entirely understand the message that was given in the audio, and still you're confused between the options, then select something and move ahead. There is no point wasting your time over here. You'll have to, as I said, you'll have to optimize the time that has been given to you. So no need to spend a lot of time here. This is again a low priority task. Then the next task, select missing word. In select missing word, again, you just have 2 to 3 questions and only 1 point for selecting a correct answer. So again, here it's a low priority task. You do not spend a lot of time on this task. But yes, in select missing word, if you want to anyhow get the correct answer, the best option is not to make notes, not to do anything, just listen for the development of idea. Just see that the track of the entire talk, where is the entire talk moving, see the development, how the ideas are being developed, what is the new point, if a new point is being introduced, listen for it. And at the end, when there is a beep, just try to figure out that what sort of word would fit in with the meaning, and look at the options, select your word and move ahead. But after the audio is over, there's nothing you can do if you have not understood it. So select something and move ahead. Don't just skip it. Select something that you feel could be correct from whatever you have understood. Okay, it's okay if you have not understood each and every sentence, each and every but still, if whatever main idea that you've got, using that, select one more word and move ahead. Don't worry much about the um, correct answer. Then the next task is highlight incorrect words. Now this, just like the fill in the blanks, is a real-time task. That means you're doing 2 activities at the same time, and you have to get the answers just when the audio is going on. But the advantage here is that you don't have to listen for the meaning, you don't have to understand each and every sentence, you don't have to focus on the development or the flow. What you're doing here is you are listening to listening, and you're reading at the same time. So when you see a word on your screen which does not sound like the word that is being written there, just select that word as an incorrect word and move ahead. But you need to remember one thing here, that this is a real-time task. So once the audio, you have to be very focused when this task comes. You cannot you cannot just be, your attention cannot be divided. It has to be very focused on what you're doing at that moment, because it is real-time task. And here, please don't do any sort of guesswork because there is a negative scoring. So practice this a lot to make sure that you're able to score 100% in this particular task, because it is possible um, even for people who have a very elementary or understanding of English. Getting a score in this task is comparatively easy than the other task, where you have to understand the meaning and everything, and then you have to select between the options, which could get a bit difficult when you have not got the entire meaning. But here, that is not the case. So it's an easy task. So you have to make sure that you're able to get the maximum out of this. And the last but not the least is write from dictation. Now, by now, most of you would know that write from dictation is a game changer. Write from dictation could either get you your desired score, or it could damage your entire test. So this is now the writing on the wall, everyone knows it. But still, I would just emphasize on the point again, that every single word in write from dictation matters. Is the first word, the first letter, capital or not? In the last word, after the last word, I will put full stop or not? All this is very, very important. So friends, make sure that you practice enough write from dictation, because this again is a very important task. So now let us quickly see the overview. If you see that from the tasks that we discussed, the important tasks or the high priority tasks are summarize spoken text, fill in the blanks, highlight incorrect words, and write from dictations. And the best thing is, all these tasks are easy. So all of those who are preparing for this particular test, PTE, I would like to tell you one thing, that guys, understand one very basic, a very basic, get this in your hand, the basic idea that these four tasks are easy. These four tasks carry a lot of weight to your actual scoring. So if you want to get a really good score, first make sure that you've mastered these four tasks. That means prioritize in such a way that you are able to, this four tasks should be on the top priority list. And then you have multiple choice, multiple answers, and multiple choice single answer, select missing word, and the correct summary. All these four tasks would be in a low priority, which means you need to have a strategy for those tasks. You need to develop your own strategy for this task, or you need to follow a certain strategy for those tasks. And once you're able to follow it, don't worry about getting them perfect during the time of your practice. Instead, make sure that you're able to get 100% score in summarize spoken text, 100% score in highlight incorrect words, 100% score in fill in the blanks, and 100% score in write from dictation. Now, how could this matter? I would just give you a simple example to make you guys understand that why this is why it is important to prioritize, and why it is important to get 100% score in these four tasks. Now, if you just look at the the scoring criteria for summarize spoken text, there are 2 marks for spelling out of 10 for every summarize spoken text. Now, if you see, you would, let's assume that you just get 2 summarized spoken text in your exam or in your test day. Even then, it would mean that you have four marks for correct spelling. Then look at the next task, which is fill in the blanks. There you would normally get 10 blanks. If you get 2 fill in the blanks, it would again be 10 blanks. So, and then you have to write each word, your spelling should be correct. So 10 plus 4, 14 words, 14 points depend on correct spelling. Then again, in write from dictation, you could have around 30 words if you get 3 right from dictation. So it's almost like 55 words, or like you can say that 40 to 55 words just depend on your spelling. Now, out of these words that you write, so in summarized spoken text, you would be writing, say, 60 words on an average. So that would be 120 words, and then 10 words for fill in the blanks, which would be 130 words, then 30 words for write from dictation, which would be 160 words. Now, those 160 words, if you make a single spelling error, it could damage your score. Even if you, out of 160 words, if you just make, say, 10 spelling errors, not more, those 10 spelling mistakes would cost you more than the combined scoring for multiple choice, multiple answers, multiple choice, choose single answer, select missing word, and highlight correct summary. So here you have 4 tasks and you perform efficiently in these 4 tasks. And here there are another 4 tasks which do not carry a lot of weight. So all these 4 tasks combined do not carry even that weight which these 4 tasks have for the spelling alone. Which means if you just make sure that you do not make a single spelling mistake in summarized spoken text right from dictation and fill in the blanks, you could probably get more marks compared to getting all the answers correct in in the multiple choice and the correct summary and the missing word. So if you just look at from this perspective, that just saving on the spelling could get you more marks there. So all those who have been facing a difficulty, all those who are just missing by 1 or 2 marks in the listening part, for them it is very essential to understand, or very essential to actually evaluate, that have you been making mistakes in spellings in these 3 tasks: summarize spoken text, summarize spoken text, fill in the blanks, and write from dictation. If you're making the mistakes, first ensure that you stop making those mistakes there. First start working on those spelling mistakes that you're making without focusing on all the 4 tasks. All right, so that is the most important takeaway message I would like to give to those people who are just on, or just very near to their target but are missing by 1 or 2 marks. Check your spelling errors, friends. Check your spelling errors in summarize spoken text, write from dictation, and fill in the blanks. Now, second thing is, for filling the blanks and write from dictation, make sure that you don't make the mistakes of ed and s. Most of the students I've seen that if the word would be motivated, they would just write motivate. or if the word is say books, they would just write book, and that could also result in you losing a mark for that particular word. Now that 1 mark that you lose, that is equal to, you do the entire task of select missing word and you just get 1 mark, and you could easily lose that 1 mark over there in the spelling. So make sure that you don't do that mistake. So again, I'll repeat, the priority is summarize spoken text, fill in the blanks, highlight incorrect words, and write from dictation. You have to get 100% score in this task. If you're not getting 100% score in this task, no need to keep on practicing multiple choice and highlight correct summaries. It's anyway not going to help you. So this is the priority. So the first step that I discussed was prioritization. So this is your priority. So make sure that you keep the first 4 tasks in priority: summarize spoken text, fill in the blanks, highlight incorrect words, and write from dictation. Now the second point that I discussed about optimization. So how would you optimize the time that you have? So generally, I've seen that people just have 2 hours a day to practice. This is the general tense. So if you just have 2 hours to practice, and say you're practicing the listening module on a particular day, make sure that you practice the high priority tasks and optimize your time than just practicing each and every task. I've seen that we tend to practice the entire section. Yes, that is important. For familiarization. I'll come to that point. But make sure that you just don't keep on doing that. Make sure that you separately practice, do an individual task based practice for the high priority tasks, which means do task based practice for write from dictation, do task based practice for filling the blanks listening, do task based practice for summarize spoken text, and do task based practice for highlight incorrect words. Make sure that your accuracy for each of the calculate your accuracy. See that if you do 100 blanks, are you able to get more than 95 correct in fill in the blanks? If no, work on that. If you're writing summarize spoken text, after every 5 or 6 summarized spoken texts, check your score, how many spelling mistakes you're making. If you write from dictation, you're doing write from dictation, do 10 write from dictations, and then evaluate yourself and see that are you up to 90%, more than 90% accuracy, more than 90% precision. If you're not there, practice those tasks. Have a separate task based practice for high priority tasks. That is what optimization is. You first put out the priorities. Your priorities are 4 tasks which are important for listening. Then optimization is using the given time, the time that you have to do that. Don't just open YouTube and see videos that repeated questions and what is the best way to solve multiple choice questions. Your 2 hours will be gone and it would be a waste of time. Prioritize the task base, and that we already did. So now use that time that you have to practice those high priority tasks. Don't waste time on internet doing something else in those 2 hours that you have for practice during the session, during the coaching, or even when you're doing it at home. Okay, so optimization is very important. And last but not the least is familiarization. What is familiarization? Just see, friends, I'll just give you a very small example. I think everyone would be easily able to relate to this example. Guys, when the first time you started learning how to drive a car, you would have seen that on the first day, when you're focusing on driving the car straight, you just forget to change the gear. And when you're changing the gear, you just forget to press the brake pedal. Now you have all the instructions. There is someone sitting with you, teaching you, telling you all the instructions, but still you can't focus on all the things together at the same time when you just start learning. So you might forget to honk, or you just might forget to brake, or you might just forget to change the gear. Or if you're doing everything, your car is steering in a different direction. Why does that happen? Because you're not familiar with the process of driving a car. Now the same thing implies here in PT. If you're very good at English, you think, okay, I know English, I know my stuff, great, I can do it. I've had a look at the entire test and now I know how the things work. And if you just go to give the test, it would be a disaster. Why? Because you're not familiar with the structure. Be familiar with the structure, which means that you don't need to look at the instructions. You don't need an instructions to tell you that which is the next task. It should be here. It should be there, in imbibed in your system, ingrained in your entire. The process should be here. That okay, now this is the next task, and you just don't need to look at the timer. You have practiced so much. You have practiced so much that you know that yes, I'm nearing to the end of the test and I have to be quick, or this is the task that I have to perform quickly. So you'll have to become so familiar with the entire process that on the test day, you're just focusing on the task, just focusing on the words that are being said, just focusing on listening. Now, listening needs a lot of attention. Believe me, listening needs a lot of focus, and you cannot have that focus if you have to read the instructions. If you have to just try and remember that, okay, what was this task, or which is the next task? Oh, one more right from dictation. I didn't know that. So if you're not familiar with it, or you just if you're just caught surprised with one more right from dictation, it's gone. You won't be able to focus. You won't be able to focus for the last right from dictation because you have not become familiar with the process. So how to be familiar? Look, there are two ways. The first one is for all the high priority tasks. For example, let's take right from dictation. You could get 3 or 4 right from dictations. Now you have to have the same concentration level for the first one and the same concentration level for the third or the fourth one. Maybe if you get fourth, you need to have the same concentration level. So first you'll have to build your concentration or focus. And how you can do that is do 10 right from dictations back to back. So every time you do task-based practice, I just talked about task-based practice, which means that you're doing each high priority task for a couple of times. So when you're doing that, do 10 right from dictations back to back. See, are you able to focus on each one of them with the same focus? Are you able to perform each one of them? If you're not, keep on doing 10 right from dictations back to back. When you're doing fill in the blanks, do 5 to 7 fill in the blanks, because you need to have the same focus in highlight incorrect words. You need to have the same focus for every highlight incorrect word task, because as soon as you lose focus, as soon as just for a moment your focus is from here to here and it's gone, you cannot score. You lose a single mark for a single word that you miss. So to develop that focus, do a bit of bulk. That means do 6 or 7 highlight incorrect words, or do 5 highlight incorrect word questions back to back, so that when you just get 2 or 3, you can maintain your focus. So that is what familiarization is within the task. So there is a task level familiarization. That means familiarization within the tasks. But what is We also need to have the entire test level familiarization. That means you need to be so familiar with the process, because you are going in the test, it's 2.5 hour test, almost, let's say 2.5 hour, another half an hour for all your fingerprints and all your um, pre-test process. Again, takes a lot of time. So it's almost like 3 hours that you're going to spend in that test room environment. So you need to be mentally prepared for that as well. So that familiarization, that means you need to give a lot of mock tests. You need to create an environment just like the test, so that you're familiar with the whole process. You need to visualize that what will happen on the test day. Visualization again is a very, very important tool that you need to use to make sure that you become so familiar with the entire process that you just don't need to look at the instructions, or you just don't need to be very conscious. You just have a glance and you know that, okay, what you're supposed to do, and you're ready, you're prepared, you're focused. And focus is very important for listening. So friends, become so much familiar with individual tasks, but at the same time become familiar with the entire test. And the best way to become familiar with the entire test is to give mock tests. We have plenty of mock tests on PT tutorials. We have it on the website. So just go to the website, get your mock tests, prepare the mock tests, use that mock test to become familiar with the entire process. Do it for a couple of times. Just knowing it, see, there's a difference between having the information and having the knowledge. If you just have the information about the task, and if you have the knowledge, that means you are so familiar with the entire thing that even if someone wakes you up in the midnight and asks that how many tasks in the listening section, you must know. That is what familiarization is. If you don't become familiar with the test and you expect, you'll just keep on giving tests. Yesterday I met one of the students, and I mean, like one of the one test taker had come for an inquiry for PT, and he said that I've given test 7 times and now I have realized that why or how familiarization is important. And I told him that this is the thing that should actually be there in the first attempt itself. So don't give 8 attempts, don't give 10 attempts. First become familiar with the entire process and then go and give the test. You get plenty of mock tests, like more than 30, 40, 50 mock tests, pttutorials.com. You can go there, get your mock test, practice them. And for the task level familiarization, which means when I said that if you have 3 highlight incorrect words in your test and you need to maintain the same focus, for that you need to do at least 10 highlight incorrect words back to back, so that to test your focus, that are you able to focus or not. For that you have PT tutorials mobile phone app. You just have to download the app, and question wise we have thousands of questions almost, and for each I would say for each task type there is a separate section. So just go to the listening section, open highlight incorrect words, and when you sit for one time to test your focus, do 10 of them back to back. Okay, so make sure that you prioritize, then you become familiar with the entire system and optimize all the time that you have. So do both. Do task based practice, then do section based practice, and at the end do a lot of mock tests. So to sum up the entire thing that we have discussed today, I would just say this, that you have 45 to 57 minutes for this particular section, which is a long time, which is almost like an hour. You have to maintain the focus because it is listening and understanding stuff. There are around 14 to 21, between 14 to 21, so almost around 17, 18 recordings that you're listening, and then there are sentences in write from dictation. So you will have to have the focus, and for focus you need to have priority, you need to have familiarization with the entire system, task-based familiarization and the entire test familiarization. And then summarize spoken text, as we discussed, is an individually timed task. It has its own time, so don't spend a lot of time don't waste the time that you have there. Use all the given time. And then the next 7 tasks, they are not individual time, they have their timer. So on an average, you spend just about 30 seconds after the recording. Once a recording is over for any task, it's a general rule for any task, just apart from summarize spoken text and highlight the correct summary. For any other task, don't spend more than 30 seconds after the recording is over, because there is nothing for you to do after that. you just have to select the answer and move ahead. So anyways, don't spend much time after the recording is over. Understand the question and listen to the recording, and then select your answer and move ahead. Okay. So again, time management is about being meticulous and at the same time being quick enough. And last but not the least, a big writing on the wall. Every one of you knows this, that do not miss write from dictation. Okay, do not miss even a single write from dictation. Do not make spelling mistakes in write from dictation. Fill in the blanks and summarize spoken text. It could damage your score. It could have a bigger damage than all the other tasks combined. Highlight all the multiple choice tasks. Okay, so finally, I'll just end up by telling you this: prioritization, familiarization, and optimization are the most as are the three steps that you'll have to do. Prioritization has been done today, familiarization that you'll have to work on, and for that you'll have to optimize all the time that you have. All right, friends, so that is all about the um, time management for listening section. If you have any questions, you can just log into PT tutorials, and uh, a team or friendly team would be there to always help you. Thank you. Thank you very much.